What's up everybody, my name is Carl, and today I'm going to talk to you about what films I'm looking forward to in 2024. I can't lie, I actually had no idea what was even coming out this year, like I felt so clueless, as per usual. So I had to do some research and look into what is coming out this year, and luckily I found some films that hopefully release this year. So in no particular order, the first film I'm looking forward to seeing this year is Deadpool 3. I have to say this is probably the only superhero film that I'm looking forward to. That's another first. Maybe it is superhero fatigue, or maybe a lack thereof of MCU and DC projects. I honestly don't think anything from Sony looks like something I would want to see, but Deadpool 3 is something I want to see. I think having Deadpool in the MCU would be a definite welcome addition. As well as this, at last, we the fans have been waiting for this. We finally are getting a Wolverine and Deadpool team up, with Hugh Jackman himself returning to play his iconic role. The set photos of Hugh Jackman in a classic yellow Wolverine costume looks awesome, and I'm so excited to see him back in the role. Aside from knowing that he's going to be back in Deadpool 3, there's really not much that I know about this film. The first teaser is set to come out during the Super Bowl in February. As well as this, there is little information on what the plot is about. From what I've seen, it might be a multiverse story, with the inclusion of the TVA from the Loki series. Hopefully Deadpool's MCU debut is good and familiar. Really hope that he retains that over-the-top dark humour, without any of the forced comedy. The next one I'm looking forward to seeing in 2024 is Civil War. Not to be confused with Captain America Civil War, this film is about an actual civil war that takes place in America in the present day. We follow journalists who travel across the states amidst this war that has engulfed the entire nation. I'll be honest, I could definitely see something like this happen in America. Certainly of the way it has been portrayed in the news over the years, as well as what you see online. I'd not be too shocked if something like this film actually happened in real life. I'm intrigued with what the breaking point is that eventually leads to this civil war, and what the overall outcome is too. No doubt there'll be a lot of violence, tension and fury. The teasers really remind me of Leave the World Behind. This came out at the end of last year and it's a great film. Another example admittedly of what I could expect to see happen in not just America, but the rest of the world too. Moving on to another film I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing this year, which is A Quiet Place Day One. The first two films in this series were absolutely fantastic, incredibly consistent, shocking, tense and mysterious. This looks to be what the world is like on the very first day of the aliens' arrival. We caught a glimpse of this in the second film, briefly showing how things started, but I guess we were then left to the imagination of what happened, which then of course led into the first film. I'm hoping we get some sequences of how this invasion has impacted the rest of the world, and hopefully introducing us to characters that we may see for a potential third part, or in this case, fourth part. I can already feel the tension for the characters for Day One, and I haven't seen any teasers for it yet. Moving on to the next one I'm looking forward to seeing in 2024, which is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. The trilogy that came out prior to this film was probably one of the best ones of any franchise. Caesar's story was phenomenal, and the overall scope of the films were brilliant. This looks to be set far into the future, allegedly 300 years after the last film, with Caesar now gone and almost being regarded as a messiah. This film seems to follow a young ape called Noah, who embarks on a journey to find freedom in a world dominated by apes, some who live in peace, and others who are out to enslave and conquer. I'm really excited for this new installment. It looks like humanity is merely a shadow in comparison to the dominated ape world, and the ape leader, Proximus Caesar, looks like the antagonist, and judging from the trailer, quite a vicious one. It'll be interesting visually to see what the world now looks like. It sounds like an adventure. Moving on to another film I'm looking forward to in 2024, which is Imaginary. Imagine a world in which the imaginary friend that you had as a kid becomes resentful, vengeful, and sinister after you left it behind. Yeah, you get this film. I mean, sure, this is something I haven't really thought about as a horror film idea, but I think the concept is pretty interesting. It's funny how this has come out and there's also a child-friendly film about imaginary friends. Can you imagine what the cinemas would be like if they released on the same day? I'm hoping this film is as good as the trailer sells it. It looks eerie, looks creepy, and definitely has a bit of fantasy to it. Doesn't look like your conventional demonic based film, rather more of a paranormal Insidious type, which is not a coincidence as this is also a Blumhouse production. The next film we're looking forward to seeing this year is Ballerina. This is the first spin-off from the John Wick franchise and centers around a female assassin who we saw in the third film as a ballerina who is out for revenge when a whole family is killed. The plot seems pretty standard for an assassin action film, but this is set in the John Wick universe, so although the plot is standard, there's no doubt that the way the action is portrayed will be. There's not been any teasers as of yet, but I really hope to get similar stylistic action sequences that we've seen in John Wick, with their own unique things. I still maintain that I don't think anything can beat the fourth John Wick's overhead tracking shot fight scene. Moving on to the next one we're looking forward to seeing this year in 2024, which is The Fall Guy. Ryan Gosling stars as a retired stuntman who returns back into the business when he discovers that a star from an upcoming mega budget movie has gone missing. The trailer shows something fun, action-packed and humorous and has Ryan Gosling as the main protagonist. Sounds like a recipe for a fun action flick. The director of this film is David Leitch, and he certainly has a catalogue of great action films such as the first John Wick film, Deadpool 2 and most recently Bullet Train. Here's hoping that The Fall Guy can reach those same heights of epicness, if that's even a word. And finally, onto my last film that I'm looking forward to seeing in 2024, which is Argylle. This looks like so much fun. The same director who made the fantastic Kingsman film. Certainly from the trailer, it has that same charming stylistic attitude. This film looks to have it all. It's got action, cool edited fight scenes, a cat, and Henry Cavill with an interesting look. Still better than that CGI mustache situation. The plot of this film is pretty interesting. An introverted spy novelist ends up in a real-life espionage situation, which in turn mirrors the plot of one of her books. I'm really looking forward to Edward Norton's role in this, as well as the various action sequences we saw from the trailers. I am convinced that the real Argylle in this film is the cat. I don't know why, but I just think it is. So in conclusion, these are my picks for films I'm looking forward to seeing hopefully this year in 2024. But what about you? Comment down below what your most anticipated films for this year are and why. Like and subscribe and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!